for their cooperation, collaboration, and participating in the public discourse. We are very excited at the new chapter that we have all ushered in, new chapter of real democracy where, the public discourse is encouraged and citizens are encouraged to truly participate in these vital conversations that, elicit sometimes great solutions. And so we are very happy that many Ghanaians, including the opposition New Patriotic Party, has taken the invitation of His Excellency to feel free to express themselves. Our legal vehicle is available to them, and that includes protestations. Yeah. And so we have seen them already, conduct 2 protestations to test, the commitment of His Excellency to this new era of freedoms on the side of citizens. And so we are happy about also the feedback we have received after His Excellency presented to the people of Ghana, in whom sovereignty really, resides, his social contract. He was not obliged to. It was a commitment he made upon himself to serve him well in terms of the urgency he himself was bringing to the new, to the task of the presidency. And also to prove to the people of Ghana that when we came to them and we called on them to vote for experience over experiment, this is really what we meant. We meant that there's going to be a new era informed largely by lessons learned from the previous experience and that deep knowledge about how the system works and where the leakages were and what right sets of approaches should be is what informed even our manifesto, which was really resetting Ghana for jobs, accountability, and prosperity. So if you look at the 120-day promises, it focuses on our key priority areas that we believed if we were quickly able to put the strong and the right foundations in, the reset agenda will well be on course. And I'm really happy at the feedback from all well-meaning and fair-minded Ghanaians that indeed we have shown some real progress, and really what we are expecting from now on is a further consolidation of the gains.
And in fact, that's the purpose of this conversation. Yes. So that, you speak for the government as well, so you can also give us some insight. But definitely, we need to get the conversation going. Yes. I was asking about your reflections.
And it's part of the Sammy Jemfi matter. Yes. It's part of, I think that for everybody, self-awareness is very important. And I think one of the values of great leadership is self-awareness. Self-awareness to be able to look back at an action of yours, whether it's a private action that has become a public matter, in the case of this Sammy Jemfi issue, to be able to have the presence of mind to recognize where the indiscretion might have occurred, and to, without any prompting, come out to acknowledge the mistake that may have been made, the optics of a private moment now played out, in the public for everyone to see and have opinions about reasonably. What we would want to say is that as a government, the Chief of Staff has since invited Sammy Jemfi to come and speak to this matter. And so the Chief of Staff in the Office of the Presidency... Pardon?
When exactly is Sammy showing up?
Oh, I'm sure today. It's an urgent matter. So
I'm just asking because you walk the corridors of power, so you would know when.
This happened over the weekend, as you know. So the invitation has gone to Sammy to show up, and because of the respect he has to the office, sure that he will be showing up today. But also to add to the fact that it comes at the back of the launch of a new code of conduct. And yes. If you look at the code of conduct, there are a number of sanctions for whatever identified acts of indiscretion or wrongdoing. It ranges from an apology, a public apology for that maybe stated misbehavior or misconduct, to a formal reprimand, which we know that the apology has already even come without the prompting of anyone. An invitation has come, so if a reprimand is in order, I'm sure that we would hear what more decision government will take. It also even includes resignation or suspension, and then ultimately when the conduct is of very severe nature, sometimes even bordering on criminality, you may be asked to go through termination.
Okay.
And so there are lessons for all of us public office holders in how we balance the public expectation of good. And this was one of the reasons why on your similar platform, when the issue of the value of gifts receiving, and again, the feedback we're getting. So in our code of conduct, it is mostly about receiving gifts, okay? And where the conversation is about gift giving, it's around the issue of hampers. So this time we need to go back again and have a conversation about gift giving from you, the public office holder, and what the parameters of, being generous and, responding to. Look, when we go to places, your cars are swarmed by people asking for all kinds of things. And so when I said somewhere else that in a day, the expenses, and you people have done these democracy watch activities over years. And I've said that beyond having deeper conversations about political party financing and campaign financing, we must have an open, transparent conversation about governance financing, because once somebody transcends into public office, there is a lot of expectation to solve not only the long-term problem, but the immediate needs of people.
And
that
in this
cannot be described as being insensitive, because to not respond to these demands would rather present you as being non-responsive to the needs of the people that you say that you serve.
Okay.
So let us learn the lessons as public officers and see if we can find a balance between what the public itself expects from us. I think largely in Sammy's case, it is the recipient. It's the recipient of
will talk about
gift that has created this brouhaha.
We'll talk about the fight against corruption as a declaration, code of conduct, like you mentioned, and the 24-hour economy and the issues of unemployment. But Doc, brief take on this matter before we get into the topic of corruption.
So I've always said that our public officials always have to pass two tests, what I call the legal test and the appearance test. They tend to do well on the legal test, right? Anytime an issue erupts, you're first pointed to the law. Did he or she do anything wrong? Has he or she broken any law? What gets them into some of these unfortunate situations is the appearance test. And when you're in public office, you have to even pay more attention to the way things look, because that is where you even end up losing a lot more goodwill and trust. So my thing is, I'm glad that the Chief of Staff has summoned him. I'm glad that he apologized. There's a code of conduct in place. Whatever the appropriate sanctions are, I just hope that the president will demonstrate, swiftness in dealing with this in terms of applying the appropriate sanctions.